You see the interview last night? Oprah returned with Meghan and Harry in what will surely go down in history as the most shocking gender reveal party of all time. At least 17 million Americans watched only the Super Bowl, and the season premiere of The Equalizer featuring another queen, Latifah, had more viewers this year, which is huge. If only there was a way these Oprah specials could vaccinate us, too. It would be...
Everyone's clocking back in, and the TV world is waking up for the new year. Jimmy Kimmel strolls out for his first episode after the holidays, but instead of his usual light jokes and celebrity laughs, he dives straight into shock mode, and nobody was ready for it. He kicks things off by showing a clip from With Love, Meghan. In it, Meghan sits in her fancy Montecito kitchen, calmly talking about togetherness, the importance of dinner conversations, and how real connection happens around the table. It's that classic lifestyle talk, all about family, authenticity, and being present, wrapped in a glossy Netflix-style presentation. Kimmel doesn't interrupt. He lets the clip play in full silence, giving the whole room a chance to soak in the message. Meghan looks every bit the motivational guru, offering wisdom on connection and closeness, like she's teaching the world how to live more meaningfully. Then, the energy shifts in an instant. Kimmel looks right into the camera and says the message is beautiful, touching, even. But then he drops one question that changes everything. He asks, when was the last time Meghan actually had dinner with anyone who knew her before she was famous? Old co-stars, family, childhood friends, anyone from her real life. The audience explodes. Applause erupts as the crowd jumps to its feet because everyone instantly gets the punchline. It wasn't mean, it wasn't harsh, it was contrast. The kind of moment that quietly exposes more than 1,000 accusations ever could. Message versus reality, side by side. For years, mainstream outlets avoided saying that part out loud. But now, with just one bold question, a late-night host brought to light what many people had already been whispering.
Meghan sounds polished. Again, perfect. She chooses her words carefully. In fact, they might be all scripted before she even hits recording. And since she's hardly talking in her videos on Instagram, when we look at her cooking show, the words even there that she uses, it's not natural. It's not something that we use all the time. She's forcing certain words into the script.
The growing gap between Meghan's polished brand and her personal history. And guess what? It didn't stop there. The very next night, Stephen Colbert jumped in with a segment titled Brands Nobody Asked For. And right in the center of it, Meghan's ventures. The jokes came rapid fire, her lifestyle projects, her canceled partnerships, and even a playful jab about how tough it must be to lose a podcast deal. These weren't the usual soft, friendly celebrity jokes. They were sharp, deliberate, and carefully timed. The same comedians who once stood by Meghan, defending her during that Oprah moment and praising her courage, suddenly flipped the script. Something had clearly shifted, and the tone said it all. For years, the industry gave Meghan patience, protection, and endless benefit of the doubt. That's exactly why this moment feels different. When the same voices that once shielded you suddenly stop doing damage control, something big has clearly shifted. Hollywood doesn't turn on a dime without reason. It moves when the energy changes, when the quiet backing fades, when the room collectively decides it's done pretending. And Kimmel's bit? That wasn't random late-night humor. It was strategic, crafted, and laser-focused. He opened his monologue by talking about lifestyle experts and self-help influencers who sell authenticity and connection. The audience eased in, laughing casually, until he revealed the example that tied it all together, Meghan. He let her present her own message first, the calm voice, the polished look, the relatable charm, and then he delivered the question that flipped the meaning of everything she said. It wasn't aggressive, it was surgical.
And Catherine and their kids are moving in the next 10 days to their new property, their forever home, Forest Lodge. And apparently they don't want to be bumping into Andrew as they go and walk the dogs down the lane. So there's an added pressure now on top of every other pressure.
One question reframed the whole scene, turning a feel-good clip into something deeper, exposing a clash between words and reality. That's when those perfectly crafted public images begin to crack, not from tabloids or gossip blogs, but from truth colliding with performance right in front of everyone. The crowd erupted, not with mockery, but with realization. The applause lasted so long, Kimmel had to stop and wait for it to settle down. That question landed because it didn't accuse. It reflected what people already sensed, but no one dared say out loud. Here was someone earning millions teaching about connection and togetherness. while her own world seemed disconnected from the people who knew her before fame and branding took over. The audience wasn't cheering for cruelty. They were responding to authenticity, finally piercing through the illusion. But Kimmel wasn't done yet. Viewers say he rolled straight into more clips of Meghan speaking about being true to yourself and living authentically. Then, he began listing every version of her public identity: actress, humanitarian, podcast host, lifestyle guru, one after another. The punchline hit perfectly. He teased what might come next. Astronaut, professional athlete. The audience went wild, roaring with laughter as he underlined how often her identity seems to shift in search of something that lasts. It felt like jokes that had been quietly saved for years, just waiting for the right moment when they'd finally make sense. Enough canceled projects, enough rebrands, enough big promises that faded before they started. This time, the timing was perfect, and the laughter wasn't mean-spirited, it was cathartic. And then came the next night. Somehow, it hit even harder. Stephen Colbert didn't just make a few passing jokes, he ran a full-blown produced segment, complete with graphics, sound effects, and music. This wasn't spontaneous.
To create that bounty that I'm talking about, because by nature they take up a lot of space, they give you something to build upon. It just feels indulgent, even though it's just some grapes. And little things, big difference.
Point is, perfect words, perfect phrases, it doesn't always connect. It's that imperfection that creates.
It was planned. He called it brands nobody asked for, built around celebrity products and ventures that seemed to exist only because someone famous decided to start them. He warmed up the crowd slowly and then set the stage for what came next. Celebrity tequilas, makeup lines, random merch drops. Colbert built up the rhythm, joke by joke, until the energy was electric. Then came the pivot. The moment Meghan's name popped up, the whole room shifted because everyone knew this was the main event. The segment zoomed in on her new lifestyle rollout, starting with that famous jam she reportedly sent to celebrity friends as promo. Colbert joked that the product was so exclusive, even people who got it for free didn't look that thrilled. The crowd burst out laughing. Not out of cruelty, but because the humor landed on the gap between hype and reaction. Then came the trademark bit. Colbert quipped that even the patent office seemed unimpressed, jokingly saying, "No thanks." The laughter kept rolling, each punchline hitting harder than the last. Next, he brought up Spotify, pointing out how podcasting is basically just talking in a room, and yet somehow that deal didn't last long. He asked, with perfect timing, how tough it must be to lose a job based entirely on conversation. The audience lost it. That line struck deep because it clashed so perfectly with her polished image of hustle and ambition. It wasn't mean-spirited. It was commentary on what everyone had already seen unfold publicly. Then Colbert wrapped it up with one more zinger, saying the real skill might not be in podcasting or lifestyle branding at all, but in getting major companies to pour millions into projects that never fully materialize. At that moment, the laughter started sounding a little too real.
Been uncomfortable because he's lied, he's been found out, that's the problem. But the evidence hasn't gone to court, it's not, there's that lack of finality about it. And
he's always...
The kind that comes from truth disguised as comedy. And that's what made it powerful. This wasn't gossip columns or clickbait blogs throwing shade. These were major Hollywood insiders, respected comedians who had defended her for years, now openly questioning the narrative they once helped protect. When people like that start pulling back, audiences take notice, because those voices have no reason to turn unless something has truly changed. Millions tuned in to watch this shift happen live. Comedians no longer cushioning the story, but confronting it. It wasn't just jokes anymore. It was the entertainment industry quietly signaling a change in tone. And many viewers traced that turning point back to one thing: the Netflix series that brought everything crashing back into conversation. That project wasn't just meant to relaunch Meghan's brand. It reopened old discussions the public had quietly set aside. The series premiered in March 2025, and the reaction hit hard. Critics didn't hold back, calling it dull, stiff, and completely lacking real emotion. But worse than the reviews was the silence. Audiences just didn't show up. From the start, the ratings were weak. Viewers weren't buying into the image of Meghan as a lifestyle guru. For many, it felt unearned, like watching a role being played rather than a passion being lived. Review after review said the same thing. The performance felt forced, the advice felt hollow, and the energy didn't connect. No one said she was mean. They said she felt manufactured. Her warmth came across as planned, her relatability as practiced, and her authenticity as something studied rather than lived. Watching her talk about connection felt to many like watching someone describe feelings from the outside instead of actually having them. And that disconnect was what truly broke the illusion. And when your entire brand revolves around being real, that kind of backlash hits harder than anything else.
I spend a lot of time at home and creating our home, but I think it's just the lifestyle and, the weather's pretty great. But we're just happy.
Yeah, that's not them there. That's not... That's not your backyard.
That is not our backyard.
Being publicly labeled as artificial isn't just criticism anymore. It turns into comedy gold overnight. Someone selling authenticity while being called fake across the board? That's a contradiction no comedian can resist. And that's exactly why the late-night hosts waited. Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert didn't jump in early. They let the Netflix show flop on its own. They watched the public reaction settle, waited until the pattern became undeniable, and then they struck. By January 2026, when yet another rebrand attempt surfaced, the jokes landed even harder because now they were rooted in results, not rumors. This wasn't bullying. It was recognition of repetition, the same cycle playing out again and again. And when the Spotify deal came up in both monologues, that part stung the most. Reports said Meghan landed a massive multi-million-dollar deal to produce podcasts, and yet only delivered one short season of Archetypes before the partnership ended. What made it sting wasn't just the end of the deal, but the reason behind it. Public reports claimed Spotify grew frustrated over how little content was actually produced compared to the massive investment. One executive even described it bluntly, saying it felt like a situation where people wanted to be content creators without actually creating content. That line stuck in everyone's mind because it was specific and savage in its simplicity. Podcasting is one of the easiest media formats around. You just sit down and talk. So when Colbert joked about losing a job that's literally built around conversation, it hit perfectly. People already knew the context, and it clashed directly with Meghan's long-promoted image of nonstop ambition and hustle. This wasn't about creative differences, it was about execution. And once people noticed that, they started connecting the dots themselves. The Netflix show underperformed. The Spotify deal ended early.
Bit of a truffle maker.
Hey.
Yeah. The memoir is out today. Prince Harry, this book is out now. It's called Spare, I Will Never Be Ever King, and I'm super annoyed about it. I added the last part, it's not real. It's just called Spare. So I was ready to come in here today and go, okay, I've kind of had enough of the story.
Right.
Then I heard that the infamous text exchange between Meghan and Kate is in the book that made Kate Middleton.
The lifestyle brand rollout got mocked. 3 big projects, all stumbling back to back. It didn't look like bad luck anymore. It looked like a pattern. And that's when the A's Ever brand became the new center of attention. It started with the American Riviera Orchard trademark filing, which got rejected for being too geographically descriptive, forcing a rebrand. When As Ever finally launched, early reports bragged about success, but marketing insiders weren't convinced. Experts pointed out glaring issues: unclear messaging, weak communication, and a rollout strategy that felt messy and unplanned. These weren't small rookie mistakes. They were the kind of errors experienced teams simply don't make. Then came the jam. That one little product turned into the ultimate symbol of everything going wrong. A small jar of jam, sent to celebrities as promo, somehow became the headline launch for what was supposed to be a global lifestyle brand. The internet instantly turned it into a meme. People were asking, who launches a luxury empire with jam? The randomness, the scale mismatch, the lack of focus, it all screamed confusion. What was meant to look elegant and exclusive ended up looking out of touch and directionless. That single question alone, why jam, fueled endless jokes and made the whole rebrand harder to take seriously. When Stephen Colbert added As Ever to his Brands Nobody Asked For segment, he didn't create a hit job. He voiced what the public already felt. The audience didn't need convincing. They had seen enough launches, enough next big things, and enough failed comebacks to recognize a pattern. The brand existed because of fame, not because it filled any real gap. That's why the laughter wasn't cruel. It was collective recognition.
Princess Diana, who was probably more of an aristocrat, more blue-blooded than he was, apparently.
How is that possible?
I think her family was more English, more going back generations.
When hype starts sprinting ahead of results, the jokes practically write themselves, and the polished image begins to crumble before your eyes. Think about it. In the lifestyle world, credibility is everything. Martha Stewart spent decades proving herself, perfecting recipes, mastering design, and turning her knowledge into a legacy. Gwyneth Paltrow built Goop by embracing something strange and aspirational, but still true to who she really was. They earned trust before they sold anything. Meghan, on the other hand, skipped the slow climb entirely. She went straight to monetizing her name, treating recognition like proof of expertise, and when that didn't land, the brand instantly became a meme. That's why the late-night takedowns hit so hard. Both Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert zoomed in on the same recurring theme: constant reinvention with no stable core. And that is pure comedy fuel. The entertainment world loves transformation stories, but it loves exposing fake ones even more. Let's walk through the timeline. Meghan started as an actress on Suits, a breakout TV role that gave her credibility in Hollywood. Then came the royal chapter, the fairy tale wedding, the global spotlight, the promise of modernizing an ancient institution. But that storyline faded. What followed was the humanitarian phase, complete with speeches and charity tours. Then came the podcast host era, short-lived. After that, the lifestyle empire attempt with American Riviera Orchard quickly rebranded into As Ever, then the Netflix lifestyle series, meant to redefine her image once and for all, fell flat. And now, by early 2026, another reinvention already seems to be in the works. At this point, you don't even need punchlines. The list itself gets laughs.
I'm watching this, like none. No, and my wife put it on. I was like, wait, rewind that. What did he say? Prince Charles is an animal. Did you watch this, Kimmel?
No, I did not.
Each new phase arrives before the last one even settles. It's like watching someone reboot their own movie over and over again. The desperation shows, and audiences pick up on that instantly. Compare this to genuine transformations. Robert Downey Jr. rebuilt his entire career from chaos to global superstardom, and it felt earned because he did the work. Matthew McConaughey shifted from lighthearted rom-coms to Oscar-winning drama, and fans believed it because the change matched his growth. You could feel the authenticity. Meghan's rebrands, though, don't feel like evolution. They feel like trial runs, like chasing whatever might sell next week rather than building something lasting. That's why late-night comedy keeps circling back. It's not personal, it's pattern recognition. Once comedians highlight that pattern, it becomes impossible to unsee. Every new announcement feels like déjà vu. Every press release sounds like the last one with a new logo. Audiences stop seeing ambition and start seeing marketing. Both Kimmel and Colbert even brought up Prince Harry, which made the story hit deeper. Here's a man who gave up royal life, family, and home to start fresh, betting everything on these projects. And what has that gamble delivered so far? A canceled podcast, a Netflix series that underperformed, and a lifestyle brand that turned into internet comedy. The issue isn't their marriage. It's what that partnership has produced publicly, a string of misfires that turned two global figures into ongoing punchlines. And the most brutal joke of all? A prince promoting jam. The internet ran wild with that image, not because of cruelty, but because of absurdity. The contrast between royal heritage and fruit preserves became symbolic of how far the brand had fallen from its original promise. It wasn't supposed to go like this. They were meant to modernize the monarchy, not memify it. Once comedians start highlighting those contrasts, it pressures the whole narrative.
Infamous text exchange between Meghan and Kate is in the book that made Kate Middleton cry on the day of Harry's wedding. So here's the text exchange. It was about Charlotte's dress, William and Kate's Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
This was the text exchange. This is in the book. Kate, Charlotte's dress is too big, too long, too baggy. She cried when she tried it on at home.
If every project underdelivers, if every opportunity turns into another awkward PR moment, people start asking the question no one wants to answer. What was all this even for? What's the purpose behind all the reinventions if none of them work? Reportedly, Meghan wanted 2026 to be her comeback year. A clean slate, new ventures, and a credibility reset. But when Kimmel and Colbert both came back from their winter break and opened their first monologues with material targeting her projects, that reset crashed before it even began. These weren't small shows. These are two of America's biggest cultural voices, speaking directly to the exact audience she needs. Educated, culture-savvy viewers who buy lifestyle products, stream content, and set the tone for online conversation. And that's where the damage really hits. Once that crowd starts laughing at you instead of with you, the brand is in trouble. You can't sell authenticity to people who now associate your name with inconsistency. You can't build influence when the biggest comedians in the country frame you as someone who doesn't deliver. Netflix underperformed, Spotify ended early, As Ever fizzled out. Those aren't rumors, they're measurable outcomes. When comedy draws from facts instead of gossip, denial stops working. That's why these late-night jokes sting more than any tabloid headline ever could. They sound true because they are true. The only way out is real change, but history says another pivot is more likely. Another rebrand, another slogan, another reset that hopes the public forgets. The problem is, forgetting is no longer possible. Late-night television made sure of that. Kimmel and Colbert's monologues reached millions. They didn't just crack jokes, they documented every stumble.
Well, Meghan Markle has opened up about Prince Harry's new life in LA.
They turned each failed project into a punchline and sealed it into pop culture memory. Once that happens, others follow. Every outlet wants its turn. The avalanche begins quietly. Commentary videos, podcasts, memes, all echoing the same tone. Now Meghan faces 3 choices. First, she can respond, confront the criticism head-on. But that risks looking defensive, which only feeds the cycle. Second, she can ignore it. Stay silent and let the jokes define her. Or third, the hardest option, slow down, stop reinventing, and actually rebuild credibility from the ground up. That means doing something steady, consistent, and authentic without fanfare or over-marketing. Realistically, she'll probably keep quiet publicly while her team spins it behind the scenes as unfair coverage. But even if the PR works for a few weeks, the long-term damage is already done. The late-night framing stuck. Inconsistent, overhyped, and inauthentic. Those 3 labels are poison for any public brand, especially one built on the idea of honesty and connection. Every new project now launches under a cloud of doubt. Even before it's released, people joke about what version of Meghan they'll see this time. That's the brutal truth. Once comedians define you as a punchline, recovery becomes an uphill climb. The audience no longer roots for you, they watch you, waiting for the next twist. It's not that reinvention is wrong, it's that reinvention without authenticity feels hollow. Real growth has struggle, vulnerability, and reflection. But the Meghan narrative often skips the reflection and goes straight to the repackage. That's why it keeps falling flat. And Hollywood notices. Executives pay attention to audience sentiment. If public perception turns comedic, investment dries up fast. Nobody wants to fund a project that people might mock before release. It's not cruelty, it's risk management. When a public image shifts from aspirational to ironic, the brand value collapses overnight. To be fair, Meghan isn't the first celebrity to face this problem.
Is almost odd to me. It's sort of bizarre how vicious they can be. Palace sources, palace insiders, who would not only not defend you, but also plant stories that were derogatory toward you and placed you and your loved ones.
Many stars have overextended themselves chasing too many roles at once. The difference is that she built her post-royal identity around sincerity, compassion, and emotional awareness. And now those same traits are what comedians use against her. Every time she talks about authentic connection, the audience hears irony instead of empathy. That's devastating for someone whose brand depends on being relatable. And the irony runs deeper. The very platforms she tried to dominate, Netflix, Spotify, and lifestyle branding, are the same ones that amplified her downfall. The failure wasn't hidden in boardrooms. It happened in public view, streamed, shared, and clipped for millions to analyze. Meanwhile, other public figures keep thriving in similar spaces. That's what makes her case stand out. It's not that the market is impossible, it's that her approach keeps misfiring. The marketing overshadows the mission every single time. The products feel designed for status, not for connection. And audiences pick up on that. Even fans who once defended her now struggle to explain what the brand is. Is it luxury living, mindfulness, empowerment, domestic inspiration? The message keeps changing, and so does the target audience. Without a clear story, even the most beautiful packaging can't hold attention for long. So when late-night hosts highlight the inconsistency, it resonates far beyond comedy. It becomes commentary on the state of celebrity culture itself, where image often replaces identity, and perception becomes the product. Meghan's saga just happens to be the perfect example of that tension. Every joke Kimmel and Colbert made pointed back to that single truth. Credibility must come before commerce. When it doesn't, even the best marketing can't save you.
There's no coming back for him, is there? I mean, you detail a lot of it in the book. There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of, but he can't come back now, surely.
I wouldn't have thought so. I don't think he'd necessarily want to. I mean, he's been pretty bruised from the whole of the...
And once the public realizes that, the fall from admiration to amusement is fast and brutal. If Meghan truly wants redemption, the fix isn't another rebrand. It's transparency. Show the messy process, admit what didn't work, own the lessons. The public forgives mistakes faster than it forgives pretense. But that level of honesty requires humility, and humility rarely fits into luxury branding. So the next move will decide everything. If she doubles down with another glossy rollout, the jokes will multiply. But if she strips the performance away and focuses on genuine connection, the thing she's been preaching for years, she might just win back some of the audience she's lost. Until then, late night will keep the lights on. Every time another project stumbles, the jokes will come back sharper and louder. That's not cruelty, it's cultural accountability. Fame without authenticity always comes full circle. And that's where we stand now. A cycle that can't continue forever. Either Meghan learns from it and reclaims her story, or she stays stuck as a symbol of what happens when branding overtakes being. If you want more in-depth breakdowns like this, where we peel back the layers of celebrity culture and look at how reputation truly shifts in real time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, share this video with a friend, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because the story's not over yet. And when the next chapter drops, we'll be right here breaking it all down.